So just let me know now if you can hear me now, because I've swapped microphones. I'm just going to pull this one around a bit. Are we okay now? Do we have sound? I'm just going to watch for guidance from somebody out there in the world that I have some sound now. Can you hear me now? It's interesting because this morning I was trying my brand new microphone. Yes, hooray, we're off. Right. Oh, well, I'll just start completely all over again. Then so morning. Lovely to see I've got some people. It's nice. Actually, that was great because now I know I've got people watching, which is brilliant. I don't always know that. But it's nice to know that you're here and you can hear me now. So we'll start again. Oh, goodness. The joys of technology, eh? That was a lovely new mic that I bought that pins on. Here it is. Bye-bye. I can go back to Amazon. Anyway, so back to what I was talking about. First of all, I was wanting to check in with you and see how you are feeling today on this Monday morning. And then what I want to talk about today is about feelings and where they come from. So I previously could have attributed my feelings, how I was feeling inside of me, to all sorts of things outside of me. So that would have included my ex-husband and his behaviour. It would have definitely included that person who pulled out in front of me at the roundabout on a morning. The weather, oh my goodness, my mood could go up and down depending on the weather. And what else? So the government and their behaviour. And I guess during this last 5 months, I could have been pushed from pillar to post emotionally if I still believed that coronavirus and its consequences could create my feelings. And that has changed dramatically. In fact, probably my experience the last 5 months has been epically improved by understanding really where my feelings are coming from. So I have a real kind of spiritual understanding of that. But I want to talk about that on a real kind of neuroscientific level, first of all, and then peel it back from there. So when we experience a feeling inside us, there are generally some hormones involved in that. So if you're feeling stressed or anxious or something like that, then you're going to be feeling, there's definitely going to be some adrenaline involved. Now, I'm not that much of a neuroscientist that I kind of know all the different hormones that create all the different feelings, but there is definitely some chemical component to that. So for me, probably stressed out would have been my default kind of description of me. I would love to know how you're feeling today, but I would, on a day-to-day basis, especially when I was in the world of being a head teacher, that would have been one of my I feel stressed kind of things. And that would manifest itself as a kind of physical knotty up feeling. I guess for some of us, that anxious feeling as well, that butterflies in the stomach, the heart pounding, whatever, that all comes from a hormonal injection inside our bodies. Some more hormones than we actually need to run our lives at that moment. And so let's just think about one of those things that I thought created that experience for me, that feeling in my body. So one of those things would have been my ex-husband. I don't know why he's in bed this morning, but he can only really have created a feeling in my body if he had a syringe of adrenaline that he could punch into my arm. My role as a head teacher could have only created that feeling in my body if something within that role had some kind of way of putting adrenaline into my body. So the exciting thing about that is that we get to kind of draw a line between us or a bubble around us that means that we do not have to be pushed and shoved by our external experiences to, in terms of how we feel on a day-to-day basis. So where does it come from then? Where do our feelings come from? Well, our feelings come from our thoughts about those situations. So it's actually much simpler than what we think. If we think our external circumstances are making us feel a particular way, then we are going to spend our entire time trying to change those external circumstances. So if it's another person, we're going to spend our entire time trying to get that person to see it from our point of view and do it our way, and you know, do what they want, what we want them to do to make us feel okay. If it's the weather, we're going to go up and down on a minute by minute basis in this country, let's be honest, guys, because it's just like one thing 1 minute and one different thing an hour later. So we would be up and down continually if we really thought the weather could create our feelings. When you realise that there is a component in this equation that a lot of us have missing, it really does change how we connect with the world. So I have to have the whiteboard because I am still a teacher. Rebecca can probably relate to this. Needing a whiteboard thing, excuse me. It's just a cold, not coronavirus. Yeah, Rebecca can probably relate. I do still love my whiteboard. It's a shame it's not a smart board, it's just like a normal whiteboard pen. But we think this. We think that circumstances absolutely do lead to our feelings, our experience of life. Is that all just turn my camera down a tiny bit. But what's actually missing from this equation is thought in the moment. Oh, hello, with a T there. So really what happens is there is an external circumstance. So I'm not saying things aren't happening around us in life. Okay, I'm not saying there are not things that appear not pleasant, they're not preferable, they're not the things we really want to happen, they're not people's behaviour we really want to happen. We really don't want that man to pull out in front of us at the roundabout. However, it is our thinking about those things that creates our experience. So I love to use this example. So this is my mug. I actually love this mug, and even though it's got a chip, I'm not going to throw it away because my fiance bought me this mug. So, and there's a drink inside it, obviously. It's actually chicory coffee. I wonder what everybody else is drinking this morning. What have you all got on the go? And try not to have too much caffeine, so have chicory coffee. It's good for your gut bacteria as well, apparently. So this is my mug. This is the drink in my mug. So there is definitely a mug here. It's real. It's solid. It's got butterflies on it. But even the colour of this mug will be being experienced by you differently to me, because we think that our eyes directly take in colour, but that's not true. Our eyes take in the colour, and then we process that within our thinking, and then we see a colour. So sometimes you can have an argument, is that turquoise or blue, or turquoise or green, with people. So this is my mug and this is my drink, and I feel good about this. I really like it. I'm ready to, you know, it's going a bit cold actually while I'm talking to you, but this mug, it's got, my experience of this mug is coming to me through how I'm thinking about it. Doesn't mean there isn't a solid mug. It doesn't mean there isn't weather and there isn't a person at the roundabout pulling in front of you, or an ex-husband who's, you know, perhaps not behaving ideally for you. But you will all be experiencing this mug completely differently to me because of the way you are thinking about it. So you might think, this is a great mug. I really like it. I wish I had a mug like that. Or you might be thinking, God, if she drinks all that, she'll be on the loo all day. Or you might be thinking, chicory coffee, that's horrible. So there's lots of ways in which we can relate to things, and that happens through thought in the moment. And the reason I'm going to bring that back now to feelings is because, as I say, if with every feeling we think we've got to do something about our external environment, it's exhausting to do that. It's exhausting to keep trying to change your external environment to feel okay. It is absolutely exhausting, and I know that because I spent many years trying to do that. So the real thing that is beautiful to know is that if you have an unpleasant feeling in your body, if something feels uneasy or doesn't feel okay, that signal is not telling you that there is something going on outside of you that you need to address. All that signal is doing is telling you that you've got some thinking that is creating that unpleasant feeling in your body. It's so much simpler to live life from this place where you are not continually trying to strive or change or manipulate your external environment to feel okay. And it's a bit like gravity, and I will say this over and over again on these videos. It's like gravity. Once you understand that, you function better. If you didn't have an embodied understanding of gravity, you would walk around all day through broken mugs and glasses and plates and pens and computers and all sorts of things, and you wouldn't understand why it was going so horribly wrong. And for a lot of us, life feels like it's going horribly wrong all the time as we are buffeted from one place to the other by our feelings and by trying to change our external circumstances. But just by knowing that that's not how it really works, that's not how we're creating our experience, it just takes a whole lot of stuff off your plate. It allows a lot of things to just melt away. And it's a joy to be in a place where you don't have to push and shove external environments to make things okay. It's all okay. And that doesn't mean you don't feel, because that's okay too. It's okay to not like something. It's okay to have a preference that something isn't a certain way. It's okay to cry and to get angry and to laugh and do whatever. But that's all okay too. You don't have to change you either, because you're okay. Because that's where the layers of difficulty can really come in, where you think you're not okay, and then you've got to try and change you as well as all the stuff outside of you. And that's just exhausting too. And that doesn't create the peace that all of us are after. We're all after this nice, quiet feeling. But when we think we've got to change some stuff to get that, but rather than realizing it's just created moment by moment by the energy of thought, by the thoughts that come into our minds, it just makes it a lot tougher. So I'm going to leave you with something that I left a client with over the weekend. And I just said to her, just for this week, just notice those feelings and remind yourself where they are coming from. Remember that the feeling is a sign that your thinking, your thought in the moment has gone a little bit out of kilter. It's not because there's something outside of you wrong. And just by noticing that and realizing that, guess what, guys, you don't have to think that. You don't have to think it, even if it looks like it's really solid. You don't have to think it. You can let it go. So it's Monday, you've got the whole week ahead. How would it be if you just use your feelings as a guide? Not a guide to change your external circumstances or to change you, but just a guide to know that that's when some of your thought in the moment has gone a little bit off. And then just see how much more peace that brings into your life. So it's been lovely to see that I've had some people checking in with me today. Hopefully some of you will watch this later. So just remember to take, just this week, take that little step towards inner peace by just realising what your feelings are there to tell you. So I'm Claire Downham from The Unique Journey. I'm a transformational coach, and today I've been sharing some steps from stress to inner peace. Take care, all of you, and I hope to speak to you soon. Thank you.